Hello. You are now tuned in to the A Little Bit A Lot podcast. I'm your host, Kristen. Welcome. This week we've got a holiday extravaganza. I'm feeling festive. For the YouTube viewers, I am chilling in my cozy little corner. I've got a warm drink beside me, and I've got my cozy holiday pajamas on. And I've got my cute little like Christmas headband, going on with the festive glam. Okay. So we are really feeling the Christmas spirit over here, guys. I hope you guys are too. I know the holidays, can be a little bit rough, especially because people get that seasonal depression. Like, I totally understand, but this year I'm feeling it, like this weekend I'm planning to go see Christmas lights. Like, I'm really trying to intentionally set the vibes. So I'm feeling good and I'm just really excited. I'm also like really excited just for the new year in general. And I feel like I've always been a Christmas girl down. Like, Christmas has always been my favorite holiday. I loved receiving gifts. I love giving gifts. I feel like that's like my love language, is gift giving. So it's a perfect time for me. So yeah, I just thought that we would, feel the festive vibes together and kind of just like reflect on like some of my favorite things about the holiday, about Christmas. Since I celebrate Christmas, I'm not 100% sure if you guys do, but either way, you could just feel the, good energy, the good spirit that I'm giving off. And I just thought that, I would reflect, like I said, on some of my favorite memories, different things I'm looking forward to with the holiday and stuff like that. So yeah. And of course, if you guys are new here, thank you for watching. Make sure you give this video on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, a big thumbs up and turn your post notifications on, and make sure you subscribe. I'm on my journey to my first 100 subscribers. I'm really excited about that. And of course, if you're listening on Spotify, thank you. Make sure you follow my podcast on Spotify. Whenever you go to my podcast page, there's going to be a follow button. Click that so that way you're staying up to date with all new episodes that drop, and then rate me a 5-star rating if you like this episode. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure you give me that 5-star rating and a review to let me know what you think. So yes, I would say that, with this week specifically, I have like really kicked it into gear with my holiday like vibes. I already have a couple of my presents for my boyfriend wrapped under the tree, and I see that he's got one under there for me. So I'm really excited for that. I'm really looking forward to that. And also, of course, it's silk press season. So shout out to my stylist, Jalandria at J. Nicole Custom. She hooked me up with the silk press for the winter. So I feel like I'm going into the holiday season, slayed and slicked down boots. We're really feeling it. I went in originally to get mini twists, and then mid appointment, I'm like, F it, we ball. I'm gonna try to get a silk press because it is silk press season. And as a 4C girly, I have been natural since 2020 when I did my big chop, and I only had like literally half like a centimeter of hair on my scalp. So it's been 3 years now. So I'm like, I may as well see what my hair looks like with the silk press, and I really like it. So it's like, that's got me even more like in a festive mood, you know what I'm saying? Because the silk press is ready to slay. And I'm still waiting on like 2 more gifts to come in the mail so I can wrap those and put those under the tree. And this week when I was talking to my mom, she was just like, telling me and my sister that she's not really in, the holiday spirit. She doesn't really want to put up the Christmas tree at her house because, my mom and sister still live together. And she's just like, I'm not really feeling it. And, my mom, like, she suffers with like seasonal depression. So she just wasn't feeling the vibes at all. So to surprise my mom on Monday, me and my sister, we went out and we got her Christmas gifts. My mom, her gift from the both of us. And we went back to my mom's apartment, her and my sister's apartment, and we cleaned the entire living room because my mom can sometimes be, a cluttered girly. So we cleaned that up, vacuumed, wiped everything down, dusted everything down, got up in that closet, found that Christmas tree, put those ornaments up, put that Christmas tree skirt around, put the decorations up, got those stockings ready, you know what I'm saying? And then I found some wrapping paper in the corner and we wrapped my mom's gifts up and we got it going so we could surprise my mom. So of course when she came home, she was just like super gagged and just appreciative. And I knew that in the end, like, even though she was saying she wasn't feeling it, sometimes you just need somebody who's there to support you, to kind of give you that extra push to get you ready for the holiday spirit. So guys, if you're out there and you have somebody who's dealing with seasonal depression and stuff like that, don't be too down. Sometimes, you just need to take that initiative and that act of kindness to kind of just be like, here you go. And then they start feeling festive. And now she's able to sit in the living room, with the Christmas lights on and feel the vibe. She's got the presents under the tree and everything's good. So it really felt good to be able to surprise my mom like that. And make her happy so she could, feel that Christmas love. And I remember I texted my mom the next day and I'm like, hey, did you see the presents that we put under the tree? And she replied back and she said, I don't snoop, with a laughing emoji. And it just made me think about like the fact that my mom has always been like that. Like whenever we put a gift under the tree, she's never going to be the one to like look and be like, oh, it's a gift, and like, kind of try to look and see like who's it for or anything like that. Like my mom will basically just wait until Christmas Day and then wander over to the Christmas tree and just be like, okay, yeah, like what do we got here? All right, well, this is for this person, this is for that person. And it just made me think, like, I was literally telling my boyfriend after she said this, I'm just like, I have never been that type of girl. Like, there are lots of people who will just see the gifts and then wait until Christmas Day. But with me growing up, like with my granny and my mom and dad, whenever there was a new present under that tree, because sometimes like, you put the tree up at the beginning of the month and then gradually as the month goes on, your parents add more gifts under the tree. So anytime I would notice that there was a new gift under that tree, sweetie, you better believe I'm yeeting over to that tree, looking down at that gift and seeing who's it for. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to dissect, what is the shape like? What do I think that it is? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is it for? And that way, when Christmas Day comes, I already know what I'm working with. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to snoop to try to like peel back anything, but I'm at least going to like take in the shape, the general shape, and see whose name is on it. So that way, when Christmas Day comes, I can already be like, that gift to the left, yeah, that's mine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's being prepared. Like, by the time Christmas Day comes, sweetie, I already know that one to the left and then the one behind that other one and then this one, I already know which ones are mine, because as they're being introduced under that tree, every week I'm checking, like, is anybody else like that? Or do you just kind of just observe them like my mom and then just wait until Christmas Day to see? Like, I just thought that was really funny. Like, I have always been that way with Christmas and like super excited and just can't wait to see what's going on. And like, even with my boyfriend, he put my gift under the tree and I, walked over right after just to make sure that it was for me, because, you never know. It could have been for his mom and he just put it under there, because like at our house, we put each other's gifts and like also our family's gifts under there as well. So whenever we go over to our families for the holidays, we just, bring their gifts over there. So yeah, I'm curious to see if anybody else is like me. Like, I know that's extra, but I'm going to know which one is mine, period. And yeah, like, I just feel like in general, like, my favorite part of, Christmas, and is just getting cozy. You know what I'm saying? Like wearing the Christmas pajamas, like I have on. Me and my boyfriend have matching Christmas pajamas. And I feel like since we have moved in together, we've been very intentional about our Christmas traditions. So now every Christmas, this will be, I think, our third Christmas together. Not like we've been together for 11 years. But since living together, we wear our matching Christmas pajamas, we get cozy, we watch the great Christmas light fight. We love seeing all of the different decorations that people have, seeing who's going to win the Christmas decorating competition. I mean, some of those people go hard with the light shows and the displays. So that's always really nice. And we also have a new tradition where we make hot chocolate. So we've got our cute little mugs. We make hot chocolate, and we also make popcorn, and we just vibe out. So I've been really, really loving that Christmas tradition. And honestly, it just has become like a winter tradition in general. You know what I mean? So it's like after Christmas, we're still going to get down with the hot chocolate and the popcorn. I don't know why that's the combination that we decided to do. I think that was Juwan's doing, but it just works. You know what I mean? So we just ran out of hot chocolate. So I got to get more because he drank it up when he was sick recently, when we were both sick. But yeah, like, it's just super fun. So I would say, to everybody out there, like, if you don't have your own Christmas traditions already, like, make one. Simple things like that, knowing that every Christmas you're going to look forward to putting those cute little cozy pajamas on and drinking that, hot drink is always a vibe. So yes, I'm trying to think, like, I wrote down a list of like different things that I really love about Christmas. But one thing that I wrote down that I wanted to share with you guys was when I was young. And I remember I just always thought this was funny. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to share this story on the pod. When I was like 7 years old, I think it was a Christmas where, like, growing up, first of all, our Christmases like used to be really big. Like before my parents divorced, because my parents got divorced when I was in 8th grade. So up until that point, every single year, like, we were super blessed. You know what I'm saying? Like, super privileged in that way, to where my mom and dad, like, gave us everything we wanted and more. Like, we had amazing, amazing Christmases, just from our parents. And up until like I was in 6th grade, of course, I still believed in Santa. So I remember, at that point, like, my parents didn't tell me that the gifts were from both of them. Like, every Christmas present under the tree was just from Santa. Like, I know some parent, like, once it got down, like, further down the line, I think after this incident, she would say, okay, these are from mom and dad and these are from Santa. But before then, they were all from Santa. So I remember one year I noticed that there wasn't like as many presents, even though we still had like a good amount. And me being me, I was just like extra and just a little booger. And I'm like, oh man, like, Santa didn't give us that many gifts this year, compared to last year. And my mom just had like such a big, like, upset reaction. And she started like crying and got emotional. And my dad's just like comforting her. And my dad's just like, don't say that, be grateful for whatever you get, for Christmas. Like, you should still be thankful, you're still blessed. And I'm just wondering, like, why is she crying? Like, I'm not, doing anything against her. Like, I didn't come for my mom. I came for Santa. And at the time, since I still believed in Santa and I didn't know that the gifts were actually all from her and my dad, I just thought like, oh, okay, well, Santa didn't really run it up. So I just always think that memory is just so funny to look back on, because, like, of course I was just insensitive and said that. Like, I try not to be too hard on myself about it at the end of the day, because I was only 7, I didn't know, but it was just so gaggy to me. I'm like, why is she mad? Like, I'm not trying to offend you, Mom. Like, I'm coming for Santa. You don't have anything to do with this. But then, like I said, the next year after that, then I ended up getting gifts from her and dad and Santa, separately. And I just, always had like fond memories of like, growing up. And my dad, of course, like did the boot thing. I don't know if anybody else had that experience where my dad took flour and then he like put it on his boot, and he put like, prints, boot prints leading from the side of the garage into the kitchen, like to the living room. And then we would, of course, leave milk and cookies for Santa. So the cookies were gone, the milk was drank. And then he even like left us a letter. And then there was like a picture of Santa, and you could almost kind of see like his slight reflection in one of the like glass bulbs. My dad like somehow used like Printmaster at the time to like edit it to where it looked like he took a selfie or something, but it was kind of like faded out so you couldn't really see in detail. And I'm like, oh man, like we almost got him. Like here's a literal picture of Santa. He's leaving us selfies and letters. And then like leaving the like boot prints, like we've got hardcore evidence that he's real, So memories like that just always make me smile so much. And I remember my mom came down and she really sold it, guys. Like she really pretended like she was mad at Santa. So then that just made me believe in him even more, because she was like, Santa's so messy. Like he left all this whole mess with his, boot prints. And she gets the broom out and she's like angrily like sweeping up everything, all of the evidence. And I'm just like, oh man, like now I'm worried, like what if he doesn't give me as many gifts next year because my mom's like upset at Santa for leaving a mess. And I remember just being so like anxious about it. I'm just telling my mom like, it's okay. Like, Santa didn't mean it. Because I thought she was genuinely mad at him. Like, does anybody else like experience that? Like, oh man. And then of course, like, just growing up and like we have our own Christmas morning. Like my parents would, make sure that we wouldn't get up in the middle of the night because they always like wrapped gifts last minute. And then we would literally wake up at like 5-6 a.m. and be like, it's Christmas time. Like I know some people like just wake up later. They like use Christmas Day as a chance to sleep in and then they open their gifts. But I have always been extra in that way where I'm going to get up at the crack of dawn, okay, and get up and go check out those gifts, So I would wake my sister up, wake my parents up, and we'd be in there. And my dad better be ready with all of the batteries for the toys. He better be ready with all of the screwdrivers to, get everything ready. Like at that point, my dad had already had a routine. You got the trash bag to throw away all the wrappers because I need my toys and everything set up stat. Like I want to be able to play with everything right after we open it type things, So that was always like really fun. And I remember, I don't know if I shared this like on the episode that I had my dad on a couple of episodes back where, our favorite part was also just like going down this sled hill that was around the corner from our house. We would always go sledding. We'd have our snow suits on and stuff like that. We would always play outside because growing up in Michigan, like we have some crazy winters. So, it's giving like almost blizzard conditions sometimes. On like some winters are like really rough. So we would have lots of good snow to play with. We, all been through the whole gags with building the snowman and all of that. Come in, and then it's like that weird mixture of like you're really really cold from being outside, but at the same time you're also sweating. I hate that feeling. Like I hate being hot and cold at the same time. And then we would come in, my dad would warm us up, we'd take a bath, and he'd get us some hot chocolate. Like it's just such a good memory, man. And it just makes me think about like reflecting on if I'm ever going to tell my kids that Santa isn't real. And I've been thinking about it a lot. And I truly just think that, like, I'm just going to do it like my parents did, from the beginning, give them gifts from me and their dad, and then also give them gifts from Santa. And I think, like, maybe finding out that Santa isn't real, like, in 6th grade, like I did, is like a good ballpark to kind of try to shoot for. I feel like 6th grade is an appropriate age. You're like 11, 12 at that point. You know what I mean? I can't remember the exact moment that I learned that Santa wasn't real though. But I do remember, like, when I found out, I went straight to my dad, I think, and then he confessed the truth, and like it was just earth shattering. Like, it was really, really disturbing for the longest time, like finding out that he wasn't real, because then not only was my dad like eating the cookies and the milk, leaving the footprints all the time, giving us personalized notes. So it's like the experience felt so real. Then on top of that, my cousin used to call me with his girlfriend and then pretend to be Santa and Mrs. Claus. So now at this point, I'm feeling like I have VIP treatment up until 6th grade, because it's like I'm getting all these experiences. I'm literally personally getting phone calls from Santa. You know what I'm saying? Like, did anybody else grow up also like looking at Google before Christmas, seeing where Santa was? You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping up. I'm gotta keep an eye out for Selena. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see where he is at all times. I thought that me and Santa were locked in. If we locked in, ain't no switching up. So I just really want my kids in the future to have that experience and like feel that innocence, feel that joy, feel that fun. And I know a lot of times like parents feel like, oh, you're lying to your kids, but I just feel like it's an innocent white lie, and there's nothing wrong with, believing that up until around like 5th or 6th grade, so yeah. And also, I just feel like, another big part of Christmas was also like going over my grandma's house, because like I said, we would wake up 5, 6 a.m., open up all of our presents, from my mom and dad and quote unquote Santa. And then we would play with our toys, and then we would go back to sleep and then wake up. And then my mom would like have the dressing ready, you know what I'm saying? Like Christmas ham. And then we would go over to my granny's house. And before like all of my family moved away, because like now, my mom's brothers like live in different states and stuff, and my cousins. Back when everybody was like in one city, I think that those times like used to be so magical, especially like when you're young, before you kind of like see your family for who they really are. Now things are really different. But back during those like, innocent days when I used to just think the world of like all of my family members, I just miss those times, like it used to just be so great. You put that Christmas sweater on, you put on your finest pair of jeans, we go over to my granny's house, and in the basement, my granny would have like this long counter, and my granny also used to have like a bar in her basement. So we would have, the ice bucket over there. You got about 4 or 5 liters of pop ready. The cups ready. My grandma would always make her famous rolls. So we would have the rolls on deck, and then we would have like the food warmers and the trays, and it would be like basically like buffet style. Like, oh my gosh, things are so different now. Like my granny's getting older, my mom's getting older. So half the time, like I said, we'll just do, like I mentioned in another episode, a salad bar or something. But man, like growing up, like up until a certain point, Christmases really used to be lit like over my granny's house too, because that's when everybody was still here during that time. And when I was young, when my grandpa was still alive, he would sometimes come by. My grandparents have been divorced like basically since before I was born. I think they got a divorce when my mom was like 18. So sometimes he would stop by and he would give us gifts. And I remember my grandpa would always give us fruit. Which, like, of course, I was a little booger, and I was just like, I don't want no dang oranges. But then he would like also throw in like $200 or something, and then my mom would be able to get me like a Nintendo DS. So at the end of the day, it's like he always came clutch. So you know that the gift he would bring would just be kind of but then he would always give my mom money so then she can go get the good gift after. So I already knew I was gonna get a bunch of fruit. Has anybody else experienced that too? Like, I don't know why my grandpa always came through with the fruit. Like, what was that about? But yeah, man, like those Christmases used to be like really lit. I remember I used to throw on like performances. I can't remember if it was like Thanksgiving or Christmas. I like would do a performance for my family, like Sierra 1-2 step, everybody 1-2 step, like put on a whole number. Like I was that kid, you know, I wanted to be the center of attention while my uncles are trying to watch football. I'm like, turn the TV off. I have to show you guys this routine that I made just for this Christmas dinner. So yeah, that was just always like so funny. And then it's like, you know, towards the end, like after my, you know, we grew up and my parents had their divorce, I remember like Christmas like really kind of took a turn from there. And then that's when you like grow up and you're like, oh, like this is real life, you know what I mean? Because like my parents honestly chose the worst time to have a divorce. During that 2008 recession, I love you guys, but what? Like, not only are they going through a divorce, but then on top of that, like, everybody's broke. So I remember, like, one Christmas, like, right before my parents, like, split and my dad moved out, we woke up and were like, yes, it's Christmas. And the only presents under the tree were the ones that me and my sister got from my mom and my dad, which obviously like was with their money. And then we just like watched them open their gifts. And I remember just being like, dang, like, woo, like that's gonna hit you with a real deal dose of reality. And it's like in the moment, of course, you're super sad, you're super down, but in the end, I am kind of glad that I've had those like rough experiences, because like those doses of reality kind of like shape you and just make you like even more appreciative of like the things that you already have. Because even though we didn't get like a single gift for Christmas that year because of my parents' like financial situation and like the literal freaking recession, like we were still able to feel that like importance of Christmas isn't about gifts anymore, and really learn that it's about family and it's about like everything that you've already gotten throughout the year. Because, you know, my mom and dad were already getting us a bunch of gifts and stuff like even before that. So then at that point, that's when my mom started to be like, okay, well, even though I can't get you anything for Christmas, tax return season. And then once my mom got those taxes a couple months later, then we would get our Christmas presents and run it up. You know what I'm saying? So in the end, like it ended up working out because we still got our things, you know, but that'll really hit you. So I'm wondering like if anybody else like had that experience too, because like I always see like TikToks where people are just like me playing my Wii, and while my parents are in the other room, you know, arguing about how we're going to pay our mortgage and losing our house. And I'm like, I haven't had a single like individual experience. Like we all going through the gags in 2008, 2009, 10? Was that really a universal experience? Did everybody's parents get a divorce? Was everybody playing their Wii, playing Wii sports, bowling, and just being like clueless and oblivious to the world, wondering why we aren't getting Christmas gifts because our parents are literally hanging on by a thread with their mental sanity? Like, I can only imagine how rough that time was for them. And then we're all just like, why can't I get any more games for my Wii? Like, you just don't get it when you're that age. But now that I'm older, of course, like I understand, because now it's like, whoo, you know, it really is rough. Like, and now that I'm in this era, like it's giving like you guys might not get, some people in my family might not get their gifts until tax season from me either, sweetie. It is getting rough, you know, like you got to depend on that end of the year bonus from my job, and then maybe we'll see if you get a gift. Like you didn't get it then, but I definitely get it now. So yeah, those are just like a few different like, moments like from growing up and just like fond memories that I have of Christmas. I just wanted to just, come on here and just feel the vibes. And I really want to hear from you guys. Like, what are your favorite memories? What are some funny memories? Have you ever like insulted your parents on accident thinking that you were like shading Santa? But it was actually your parents. Like, what is the gags? Like, what are your Christmas gags? Let me know in the comments on YouTube or in a review on Apple Podcasts, or even DM me so I can see, like, what were your experiences? Did your parents get a divorce in 2008? But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this holiday. Like I said, I'm going to see the Christmas lights this weekend, and then after that, we're going to get a bite to eat. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I just really hope that you guys have a happy holiday. And of course, this brings us to the favorite thing of the week segment. Favorite thing of the week. Hey, favorite thing of the week. Hey, my favorite thing of the week is Pray For Us, a song by Trippie Redd. I normally am not like a Trippie Redd girly, but my boyfriend is like super duper Trippie Redd fan down. And Pray For Us is like a bop. Like, surprisingly, I have been liking his album a lot. It's really been expanding me to like different types of music and stuff, since living with my boyfriend. And it's an undeniable banger. So I will make sure to add that song to the favorite thing of the week playlist. Of course, if you're on YouTube and you go to the playlist section on my YouTube channel, you'll find it there. And yeah, like we were supposed to go see Trippie Redd on his tour. Was that this year? Earlier this year, I think. And then he canceled it. So I'm really confused about that. Like, I wasn't really looking forward to it, but I was just down because my boyfriend wanted to go, and he's always like going with me to stuff. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll come through. And then he canceled it. So like, what's that about? But yeah, and I also want to give you guys a PSA that this is the second to last episode of season 1. So basically, after this episode, next week's episode is going to be released, and then we are done for the year. I can't believe it. Like, the fact that it's already been a little over 3 months is crazy, but I think I'm just going to keep season 1, short and sweet, and then I'm going to be taking a break from the pod. Your girl needs to be able to like clear her mind, map out my goals for what direction I want to go on the show within 2024, think about different guests, so let me know in the comments or send me a DM if there's anybody that you would love to see me collab with or that you'd be interested to have on the pod, because 2024 is going to be my networking era. You know what I'm saying? I want to connect with other podcasters. I want to connect with other influencers, micro influencers, you know what I'm saying, small entrepreneurs, and really get to see more about different people and their stories, and bring that to you guys so that way we can have more range and diversity and stuff like that. So I'm really excited for what 2024 has to bring. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that I will be taking a couple weeks break, and then I probably won't release an episode after next week's episode until the end of January. So just want to let you know, don't say I didn't warn you. So like I said at the beginning of the episode, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Turn your post notifications on Spotify. Make sure you give me that 5-star rating and follow the show. And on Apple Podcasts, give me that 5-star rating and a review. So let me know what you thought about the episode and what is your favorite part of Christmas. So yeah, I'm hoping you guys felt the cozy vibes. I'm wishing you a very Merry Christmas. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be listening to my Michael Bublé. What is it about Michael Bublé? Like, he's the king of Christmas. Like, I'm just so ready to get into it and be cozy with my boo. But yes, so like I said, have a happy holiday. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I will see you next week. Bye.